Good evening, America. You are about to meet Sergeant Dave, host of the Remember the Fallen show. After having survived a rollover accident avoiding a landmine in a troop transport vehicle, military acronym LMTV, in the Parwan province of Afghanistan in 2004, he emerges and returns to the United States with an even more compelling tale of perseverance as he navigates the rapids of the troubled VA system. He gains a new perspective with a fever of enthusiasm to all patriots across the windswept fields of America.
You are about to listen to the Remember Fallen show with me, Sergeant Dave, where you'll be listening to my guests, jarheads, squids, wingnuts, Air Force. We call them penguins too because 95% of the Air Force don't fly, and ground pounders, and an occasional coastie. Maybe not. But most of all, I will be advocating to patriots like yourself that get a lump in their throat when they hear the national anthem being played at a ball game. You see, one of us can be run off, two of us can be disregarded, but a show's audience, together, we are a movement.
I'm a veteran, a proud member of this post, 8207, and a teacher here in Seminole County. Like everything else I do, there are rules. Today, you're lucky, there's just one. This is a non-political event. We're here for one reason and one reason only, to honor our true heroes, the Vietnam War veterans. I would like to express my thanks to everyone, especially Congresswoman Murphy, Kyle Thorpe, the entire staff, Linda Franco and Brian McDonald, the backbone of this VFW and our daily operations, and everyone, especially our veterans, for showing up. Today we're gathered to highlight the service of the armed forces during the Vietnam War and to thank you and honor our veterans who served during that time. 58,220, a number none of us will forget. Hundreds of thousands of Vietnamese also passed away. Last night I was sitting at the Winter Springs City Council meeting, listening to a story of a brave young police officer who was getting Saving a Life medal, and he was being awarded and recognized by his community less than 30 days, and he deserved it. But it made me think about you and what I was going to say. Our Vietnam veterans are truly the greatest generation of patriots this country has seen. You answered the call of duty of your country, yet you came home to be treated in a deplorable manner. On behalf of my fellow veterans, VFW Post 8207, our local community, and a more thankful nation today, we thank you for all you have done, and we are forever sorry for how you were treated. This morning you will hear from the United States Congresswoman Stephanie Murphy, Colonel Joe Ramos, the Senior Advisor to the Director of the Vietnam War Commemoration and the United States of Defense. With that, please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing. It is my pleasure to introduce the Central Florida Community Arts singer for our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we
be short because my wife took a line to make sure that it was anybody times me. We keep it to 4. But before I start, I had dinner with my son last night. He goes to Embry-Riddle University over at Daytona Beach, and the topic of hurricanes came up. And I scolded him 3 years ago when his car only had half a tank of gas. The meals ready to eat that was in his trunk were eaten because he went camping. And obviously all the gas stations had dried out, so he was stuck, and I was not happy. Well, last night, now that the storm may be heading to the Carolinas and Virginia, he went down his checklist, and guess what? His father did not have the right amount of water, and I have all the cars, and we're talking about Virginia. And there's just something humbling when you're schooled by your youngins. That's a sign that they're becoming adults. So when I get back to Virginia tonight, my first stop will be to top off my car, go pick up some more water, and I am good on MREs. I don't eat those unless there's an emergency. Ladies and gentlemen, Congressman Edgeworth, Congresswoman Murphy, members of VFW Post 8207, Gold Star families, Blue Star families, Vietnam service members, and all veterans that have served the nation, good morning. I want to thank you for the opportunity to be here to share what more than 11,000 organizations across the country are doing to help the nation thank and honor our Vietnam veterans and their families. My name is Joe, and I am the senior advisor for our director in our office. Our office is charged with executing the Department of Defense's plan to commemorate the 50th anniversary of the Vietnam War. In 2008, the Secretary of Defense was authorized by law to conduct a commemoration of the 50th anniversary of the Vietnam War. The inaugural event occurred at the Vietnam Veterans Memorial, commonly known as the Wall, in Washington, D.C. on Memorial Day 2012. The President was the keynote speaker, and his words were powerful. He stated, and I quote, "And one of the most painful chapters in our history was Vietnam, particularly how we treated our troops who served there. You were often blamed for a war you didn't start when you should have been commended for serving your country with valor. You were sometimes blamed for the misdeeds of a few when the honorable service of the many should have been praised. You came home and sometimes were denigrated when you should have been celebrated. It was a national shame, a disgrace that should not have happened. And that's why here today we resolve that it will never happen again," unquote. 58,318 names are on the wall. The average age is 23.1 years old. 1,594 are still considered missing in action, and their families will wait for their fate. 54 of those that were unaccounted for from the state of Florida. 1,900 names on the wall are from Florida, 14 are from Sanford, 93 are from Orlando, and 1 was from Longwood. 8 women are on the wall. 31 sets of brothers, 3 sets of fathers and sons are also listed. At 63 years old, Wayne McGriff is the oldest service member from the Navy. And at 15 years old, Marine Private First Class Dan Bullock is the youngest American service member killed in action during the Vietnam War. Due to the wonderful efforts of our dedicated partners, to include 14 partners that are in Florida's 7th district, as well as Congresswoman Murphy's office, we intend to offer thanks from our nation to as many as possible of the 7 million living Vietnam veterans and the 9 million families of those who have served from November 1st, 1955 to May 15th, 1975. To date, our partners have thanked and honored over 1.8 million Vietnam veterans. Thank you for your attention this morning. I'm privileged to be with you. May God bless our Vietnam veterans. May God bless the Sunshine State. And may God bless the United States of America. Thank you, and welcome home, Vietnam veterans.
7th District as a commemorative partner, awarded in recognition of your willingness to assist and support a grateful nation in thanking and honoring our Vietnam War veterans, their families, and those who served with or in support of the armed forces, done this 26th day of April 2018. Signed, Secretary of Defense, General Mad Dog Vance.
Good morning. My name is Congresswoman Stephanie Murphy, and I'm just so humbled and honored to be in your presence. Thank you for being here, and thank you for everything you've done to defend the land we love. I also want to thank Joe Kaminsky for allowing us to use your VFW and for emceeing our event today. And also thank you to Colonel Joe Ramos for coming down all the way from Washington, despite the fact that the hurricane is bearing down on Virginia, coming down here to be with us today. I also want to thank Longwood Commissioner Abby Shoemaker and Commissioner Jim Turney of Altamont, who is also a vet, for joining us this morning. So thank you all for being here. So in a few moments, I will present the Vietnam veterans in attendance or their surviving family members with a special pin to recognize your service and sacrifice. And I think it's fitting that we're holding this ceremony on the 17th anniversary of the terrorist attacks of September 11th. It was a tragic day filled with loss, but it was also a day that unified our nation and deepened our appreciation for the men and women in our military. And it was a day that reminds us of what is at stake. Before I present you with your lapel pin, I'd like to say a few words about why this ceremony is so important, both for our country as well for me personally. I want to begin, however, by paying my respects to your comrades in arms and your loved ones who did not live to see this day. And that includes the soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines who lost their lives in Vietnam, thousands of miles from home. It also includes those service members who survived the war, some with visible or invisible scars, who passed away in the years that followed. Too many of these warriors left the earth without being appropriately honored for their patriotic service, and that's a shame. Those of you who served in uniform may be thinking about your fallen friends right now. And I know that friendships formed in the military, especially friendships forged in the crucible of combat, are uniquely deep and intense. Those of you who are here on behalf of a late spouse or parent or other family member who served our country are no doubt thinking about your loved one and missing them terribly. And I know that you carry those memories with you in your hearts every day, but particularly on days like this, where deep pride can mix with deep sadness. So I join you in paying tribute to the Vietnam veterans you loved who are not here with us today, but who will never be forgotten. Not by you, not by the nation that they served so well. Now let me underscore why this ceremony and similar ceremonies being held around the country to commemorate the Vietnam War and to recognize the Americans who served during that war is so important for our nation. As a general matter, I think you'll agree that America has a tradition of expressing appreciation for the men and women who took up arms for this country in times of conflict. And we saw it clearly after World War II, when the heroes of Normandy Beach and Iwo Jima were welcomed home by a grateful nation, which celebrated their victories and venerated their sacrifices. And thankfully, we witnessed it again in the years since 9/11. By and large, men and women who served in Afghanistan, Iraq, and other conflict zones are shown respect and even reverence by the American public, which is precisely as it should be. But too often, the treatment of Vietnam veterans represented a deviation from this tradition. In retrospect, it seems clear that some members of the public who doubted the wisdom of America's involvement in Vietnam did not properly distinguish between the war itself and the warriors who volunteered or were drafted to serve in the war. As a result, too many of you and your fellow service members were treated in dishonorable ways you did not deserve. And this ceremony, belated though it may be, is designed as a corrective, an effort to make sure you know how much your service and sacrifice was appreciated and is appreciated. No politics, no debates about foreign policy, just a simple expression of gratitude for men and women who put it all on the line when their country called, and who, once their time in service was over, fought so hard to make sure that veterans of their generation and future generations would be treated in a fair and dignified manner. And now, in order to explain why this ceremony means so much to me personally, I'd like to tell you a short story, probably one that you've heard before. But I was born in Vietnam after the Vietnam War had ended. And as you know, a communist government had taken power. And it was determined to punish those who had worked alongside the U.S. military or the South Vietnamese forces. And my parents fell into both of those categories. And when I was just a baby and my brother was 8, my mom and dad concluded that a difficult situation had become intolerable. And they wanted us to live in a place where we would be safe, where we would have freedom and dignity, and where we would have the opportunity for a better life. And they didn't think any of that was possible any longer in Vietnam. And so we fled Vietnam in a small boat in the dead of night with other families. And several days into our journey, we ran out of fuel, and we were dangerously adrift in the middle of the South China Sea. Thanks to grace or good fortune, a U.S. Navy ship patrolling in the area received our distress signal and located our boat. The sailors on board, all of them trained for combat, showed compassion for desperate strangers. They gave us the fuel and supplies we needed to reach a Malaysian refugee camp, and from there, we would make the passage to the United States and eventually become very proud American citizens. And now, decades later, I stand in front of you as the first Vietnamese American woman ever elected to Congress. The moment the U.S. Navy rescued my family was the moment that made the rest of my life possible. And although I was too young to realize it at the time, this was also my introduction to America's uniquely wonderful combination of power and generosity, which is perhaps best embodied by the American military. A force for good in a chaotic and often cruel world. And as you can imagine, when I meet veterans, and especially Vietnam veterans like you, I feel an overwhelming sense of gratitude. I felt it last year when I had the privilege to travel to Vietnam with the late and great senior Senator John McCain, and to tour the prison where he showed so much courage and character, and demonstrated what it means to be a patriot. There's simply no words I can say to adequately thank you, and no actions I can take to fully repay the debt of gratitude I owe you and this country. But I promise you I'll never stop trying. So now, on behalf of the country you served, I'm so happy to present you with your lapel pin. On the front of the pin is an eagle representing your courage, honor, and dedicated service. And on the back is a simple message: a grateful nation thanks and honors you. May God bless you, and may God bless the United States of America.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
On behalf of our commander, Mike Ward, special thanks to Colonel Ramos, Congresswoman Murphy, and your staff. And I can honestly say, in 20 years in the VFW, we have never heard a better voice. Thank you. To the true VIPs of this visit, it's you, our veterans. On behalf of Post 8207, know that you always have a family here. Our front door, our back door is always open for you. Please, just let us welcome you. There's lunch being provided by Mission Barbecue. If you've not had their food, please stay. I promise you'll be going back soon. Have a great day. Thank you very much.
Here I am live, Sergeant Dave Matthews, roving reporter for Remember the Fallen show. And I have Fred Robinson here from VITAS. I've known Fred for more than 5 years. He's a great patriot, goes around all the community. He's a community guy. So, Fred, you served in Vietnam. What time and what era and what unit did you serve in?
Actually, I served from 1973 through 1977 United States Marine Corps. I had orders to go to Vietnam, and they got changed once I picked up a top secret clearance, and I was in Marine Barracks, Subic Bay, and we guarded the upper and lower naval magazine.
Fred, what do you think about this great event here at the VFW here in Longwood on Ronald Reagan Boulevard with Congresswoman Stephanie Murphy? She is a Vietnamese, the first Vietnamese woman in Congress. How do you feel about the event she has today?
Well, the event was very powerful, and it's much needed. I actually was a part of Operation New Life, and that's when all the refugees left Vietnam and came to Grande Island in the Philippines. So I might have saw some of her grandparents or her parents as they came through. But I think it's very meaningful. Not enough can be done, but we need to start somewhere. We need to continue, and we need to put a controlled effort on the Vietnam veterans, because they're the ones that we're losing the most. They're the ones that are being challenged the most with a lot of health issues, invisible wounds of PTSD, and also they're not coming forward for a lot of the resources and services because of how they've been tainted when they came out. I do my best to educate and inform them that, you know what, when we got out, we all faced the same thing, but you know what, times have changed. On a car, the rear view mirror is small, the window is large. Look forward and stop looking back so much. There's a lot that's available for you now that's opened by the VA, and you need to take advantage of it while you can.
So, Fred, how can these Vietnam veterans in the audience reach out to you and you can assist them with any type of a claim?
Basically, I cover Osceola, Orange, Seminole counties for VITAS Healthcare. I'm the Veterans Liaison. And basically, I sit on both of the mayor, Buddy Dyer and Teresa Jacobs boards. I partner with the VA, the VFW, the American Legion, PVA, and DVA, and many other veterans organizations. I'm like the town crier in the veterans community. And if anybody have any questions or challenges that they're going through, they can use me as a contact to help them get the resources and the services that they need that they may be unaware of, or the appropriate process to start it.
Fred, I thank you so much for all you do for our community and for what you do for VITAS. You are a great patriot. I thank you for your service. You are a true Vietnam veteran patriot.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
Here we are at the VFW, Vietnam War 50th commemoration again, and we're with Angel Liassad, and he was also a Vietnam veteran. And so, Angel, what part of Vietnam did you serve and what year?
I served 67, 68, and I was in 12th Marines, Quang Tri Province, Dang Ha.
Oh, outstanding. And so now that you see this recognition, you got your Vietnam War 50th Lapel Pin from Stephanie Murphy, first Congresswoman as a Vietnam citizen. Amazing story she has, how she was saved by the U.S. Navy. How does it feel now that you're finally getting recognition, some type of gratitude that the community is reaching out to you guys and thanking you for your service? It's so much overdue over 50 plus years ago. How does it feel now?
It feels okay now, especially Stephanie Murphy, because I came to her when she had the last meeting in Sanford some months ago, and that I needed a wheelchair, and within a month she made a phone call, her people made a phone call, and the VA gave me the wheelchair.
Outstanding. That's great news. Less than 30 days. You hear that? So next time she goes around for election, Stephanie Murphy, remember her name. She's a great woman. Also, right now, so do you have any Agent Orange issues, anything with that might have happened over in Vietnam, because you were on the ground in Vietnam, right?
Right, Agent Orange, and also what happened in Lejeune, but especially Agent Orange. The VA doesn't want to do anything for me, and I have a daughter that's getting paid by the VA because she came defective because of Agent Orange.
Yeah, see that? It's in the bloodstream. We've been talking about it on our previous shows, how it transfers in the bloodstream to next generation. So get this, his daughter is getting claims, getting a disability, but he is not. So the system is broke. So we're going to be working with Angel, the show, with Doc Ellis. Once again, ellisclinic.com. We're going to be reaching out to Angel. We're going to put him with the doc, and we're going to try to work on increasing his disability claim. Thank you again very much. Thank you for your service, Angel. I appreciate you coming out for this great event today. Thank you. Here I have Leslie Belts from Daughters of American Revolution from Orange County, another true patriot. She looks wonderful with her ribbons and everything. So Leslie, what is going on with the Daughters of American Revolution, DAR, in the upcoming months in Orange County? What's going on?
Well, our chapter is out of the Winter Park area, and we're very excited to celebrate Constitution Week with a proclamation by the Winter Park Mayor. And the Florida State Regent, Dawn Lemongello, will be visiting us to sign our charter for our chapter. And then in October, we are very honored to sponsor a program by Joseph Vetta, who is in character giving us the story of Alexander Hamilton. And then from there, we go on to celebrate Veterans Day in November, and I'm always honored to do that as a veteran.
You got to go to the Universal Vet Parade. I'm going to get your whole group to be in the parade.
Oh, that would be wonderful.
So we got to organize this, Leslie.
Okay, right here.
So you're also going to get 2 tickets to the Universal Studios.
Oh, my.
For everyone that attends.
Oh,
Leslie.
really?
So you're going to have your banner. Do you have your DAR banner?
Yes, we do. We're
So
prepared for the parade.
You're going to walk proud and be in the
Yes.
front line right in front of my group, okay?
Uh-huh.
We're going to be setting that up. It's actually a day before Veterans Day, so
Okay.
let's coordinate this.
Yes.
This is the Universal Studio of Orlando, the Universal.
oh, my.
All right, we'll have a great time there. Thank you so
We're
much
excited.
for your
You're very welcome.
patriotism,
Thank you.
Leslie.
It's
Thanks
always
for stopping
good to
by.
see you,
Good
Sergeant
to see you.
Matthews.
Take
Uh-huh.
care. Bye-bye now. Doc, come on up.
What's up? You remember my wife, Linda?
Hi, Linda. How are you? Okay, so I'm going to go right into it. What do you think of this great event, Mr. Woodcomb, of this event today, Dennis, of Stephanie Murphy, first Congresswoman out of Vietnam, putting an event on like this?
I think it's really great. She is just one of these people that sincerely appreciates what our country has done, and our military has done, and to be honored, especially by her,
right,
is truly, just an outstanding event. It was done very dignified. It was done with true feeling for the people that it served in her original homeland.
I like how she personally pinned every veteran up there and took a handshake and took pictures. Because a lot of other people in the past, they just had a table full of pins and they said, go get it when you're done with the ceremony. That was dignified. What she did was outstanding. She's got my vote from now on every year. She does.
Yeah.
So how's it feel for you being a Vietnam veteran, getting this kind of recognition 50 plus years later?
You know what? It was a little, well, it was pretty tough when we first came out. But one of the things I have to hand with Vietnam veterans is that they kind of upset us a little bit with the way we were treated, and because of that, we did a lot of great things. I don't know if you realize there's a homeless veteran stand down in Seminole County this on October 20th. The original stand downs started in California by Vietnamese veterans, Vietnam veterans that wanted to help homeless veterans.
Nice.
You
I went to your event in Sanford. That was awesome that you guys did. 2 years ago, I went to that one.
Well, come to this one too.
Okay, well,
and
I'll set up a show. You guys get me set up a little booth?
Yeah, call Ed.
Call Ed. Ed's still in charge of that. Okay,
yeah.
Ed Buford. Yeah, I'll do that.
And one of the things that I'm also trying to do, and I know I've mentioned this before to you, is I'm trying to get a grassroots movement going. There are no VA facilities in Seminole County, and I have given a letter to Stephanie and our chief of staff to try to establish a vet center, which is for readjustment counseling for combat related PTSD and military sexual trauma for the veterans, for that. And because they suffered the more severely of any
MST, yeah, remember the acronym, MST. It's not called rape anymore. It's called MST, military sexual trauma. Yes.
And it's more prevalent than a lot of people realize, and now there's a lot of people that are coming forward, and they need this specific treatment very, very badly.
I agree.
And Seminole County is a perfect place to put a center.
Well, let's spearhead this together, Dennis. We'll work on this. I'll help you get it out in the show and get it out there to the national syndicate, and maybe we'll get some sponsors.
All right.
All right, Dennis. Thank you
you
for coming by. Thank you for your service, sir.
Thank
you. Okay, here we are at the ending of the Vietnam War 5th Commemoration Partnership with the VFW here in Ronald Reagan, Longwood. And right here I have with me Congresswoman Stephanie Murphy, who's District 7 put this whole venue all together. What a great event. It was so sincere. It was these veterans, you can tell they appreciate all you did, Stephanie. So, Stephanie, can you tell us your little story behind why you were so passionate about the Vietnam veterans?
Well, I owe my life to our Vietnam veterans. My family and I escaped communist Vietnam after the fall of Vietnam, and we were dangerously adrift at sea when a U.S. Navy ship rescued my family. I wouldn't be standing here today if they hadn't extended grace to desperate strangers, and so I owe my life to them, and that's why I'm always supportive of men and women in uniform as well as the veterans. And it was an honor today to be able to honor them and to thank them for their service.
Well, thank you so much, Stephanie, and I want to just thank you for you helping out with Angel Lasona, getting him his wheelchair in less than 30 days. That's an amazing something to do. He's been trying for 2 years. So we also do that. We're advocate for the show. We work with Doc Ellis Clinic. We help to help Vietnam veterans increase their disability, especially with Agent Orange. So we'd like to thank you for all you've done today. You just did a great show. We appreciate all you do, Stephanie. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and your listeners should know that if they run into any issues with the federal agencies, whether it's the Veterans Affairs or otherwise, they can always reach out to our office, and we'd be happy to help them like we helped Angel.
Okay, what number would that be, Stephanie?
They can reach us through our website, or they can call 888-205-5421.
Thank you so much. Remember that number now. It's 888-205-5421. And we also go to our website, go to Facebook page, stephaniemurphy.house.gov. You're going to see Stephanie. You're going to hear Stephanie. She's going to be around a long time. Thank you again, Stephanie, for a great day for our Vietnam veterans.
Thanks so much for having me on.
Okay, here I have Joe Ramos. He is the Senior Director of Advisor. He's a Senior Advisor for Vietnam War 50th Commemoration up in Virginia for the United States of America. Joe, thanks for a great ceremony today. Joe, can you explain a little more about the Vietnam pin, the certificate, and everything you do up in Virginia?
Sure. Again, I'm Joe. I'm a senior advisor, not the director. I don't want to get fired.
Yeah.
But in very simple terms, in 2008, Congress enacted into law that the Department of Defense will lead the effort to commemorate the 50th anniversary of all those that served during the Vietnam era, not just in country, but throughout. So in essence, we recognize and honor the service, valor, and sacrifice of any service members that served from 1 November 1955 to 15 May 1975. One symbol that we use, or one item that we use to recognize our veterans, is the Vietnam Veteran Lapel Pin. Again, it doesn't matter where you served, as long as you served at least one active duty day during those period of times that I mentioned earlier. But I also want to highlight, we also have recognition for other members. For instance, the POW, the MIAs, and we also have what we call in memory of recognition, where there's a special certificate, a special pin, and in essence, if you're an immediate family member, be it a parent, a spouse, or the children of anyone who's got a name on the Vietnam Wall at the Vietnam Veteran Memorial, well, again, that's called the in memory of recognition. Now, we also have another category called the Vietnam Veteran Surviving Spouse. In essence, if the spouse has died since and their name is not on the wall, well, we also want to recognize them. And again, for a surviving spouse of anyone that served during the Vietnam era period, and I'm going to highlight again 1 November 1955 to 15 May 1975. And again, if you're a surviving spouse, we have special recognition. It all falls under the category, the Certificate of Honor Program. And if you want to read more about it, please go to our website. Just Google Vietnam War 50th, and it'll bring you to our commemoration site.
And to let you know, I am a commemoration partner with the Vietnam War 50th, so I've been working with the Virginia office with Joe, and I just met Joe through Congresswoman Stephanie Murphy, and this is going to go for quite some time, 2025, right?
Exactly, yeah. It was a long war, therefore it's a long recognition period. So 50 years after 15 May 1975, it's obviously going to be in 2025.
Wow, outstanding. So there'll be more shows to come, and I want to thank you so much, Joe, for coming out, putting this great event together, and bringing the community together for a great cause, because we love our Vietnam veterans. Thank you very much, Joe.
No, thank you. And Dave, I just want to highlight, Commemorative Partners is what really makes it all happen. We have over 11,000 across the nation, and we definitely honor your commemoration efforts. And I want a special thanks to Congressman Stephanie Murphy for putting on a wonderful event today.
Thank you so much. It was a great event. Here with Bob and Jerry Krebs, both U.S. Air Force Vietnam veterans, served a long time, and Bob has 90%. He's got Agent Orange throughout his entire body. So, Bob, how are they treating you at the VA hospitals with your conditions?
I think the treatment is excellent. Every once in a while, you have an issue with the administrative people, but basically, they've been treating me since '94 and doing a good job. I think I don't have any issues with the treatment. My issues are with the benefit administration, the administration of benefits. And
so you, obviously, if you get 90%, you want to get 100% unemployability. So you at unemployability right now?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
But I'm going to apply for that. I went for. I was going to do the Board of Veterans Appeals for my ischemic heart disease to try to get it back to the time that I left service. They told me I'd never get it, so I canceled that, and I'm going to put in for the unemployability, but I also have a claim in for bladder cancer, which the VA still doesn't recognize as Agent Orange related.
Okay, well, I'm going to put you in touch with Doc Ellis from ellisclinic.com, and he might be able to assist you with that. And so, Jerry, you're 70%. Tell me your little bit of your history with what you're going through. So you were in Agent Orange as well?
Yes, I was with a fighter unit in Thailand, and it's a little harder for us to get the Agent Orange approvals, even though Agent Orange was used to clear the bases, I'm told. They're just now starting to recognize that. And so if anything happens to me, I'm 70% disabled, but there are other things that come along, diabetes, which are, is presumptive. So I think that needs to be looked at, the bases in Thailand.
Yeah, so I'm following with Saigon. Saigon is finally getting recognized.
Okay.
Once Saigon gets recognized, Thailand should become right after that, which is great. So, yeah, we're going to reach out to Agent Orange Survivors of Guam. That's another Facebook group page, okay? But mainly I want to get you two involved with Doc Ellis, ellisclinic.com, and I'll give you that information with him, and he'll know about your information. But let's talk about today. Today's great event. What Congresswoman Stephanie Murphy did today was just amazing. He had Joe Ramos here from the senior advisor for Vietnam War 50th up in Virginia. What a great turnout. Can you share with me how you felt today, Jerry?
Well, Stephanie Murphy is our Congresswoman, so it was a sort of a direct connection with us and her story about being a Vietnam refugee and all that. Everything just resonated. It was just so nice after all these years to be recognized for what we did, rather than all the political bad stuff that went on when we came back. So I thought it was very touching, and I was really grateful that she did that.
Yeah, I did too. Did you think so, Bob?
Yeah, very much so. I was very touched by her ceremony, by her story. Of course, I knew her story, but she really, I felt it was really sincere the way she spoke about thanking us, and it was a bad time coming home. The Air Force sent me to the University of Arizona, and there were some anti-war people there that when they found out I was a Vietnam veteran, they would try to harass me. Fortunately, I'm 6'1" and about 200 pounds, and so, they kind of ran away after a while.
You were in combat, man. That's nothing right there. Yeah, right? Yeah, so what a great day event. And, I'm a Vietnam War 50th Commemoration partner as well. I love doing this. I've been doing it for 3 years. So Never Forgot Memorials is always behind the Vietnam War 50th Commemoration partner. And thank you so much for your service. Hey, let's go to Wishing Barbecue after this. A big event over there, too, as well. Yeah, okay, great. All right, Bob and Jerry, thank you so much again.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Great. Have a great day. Bye-bye. As we just observed the 50th anniversary of the Vietnam War, Congresswoman Stephanie Murphy, staff, and the audience of the VFW reflected with solemn reverence upon the valor of a generation that served with honor. These servicemen and women who left their families to serve bravely, a world away from everything they knew and everyone they loved. From the Ai Drang Valley to Khe Sanh, from the Huey to Saigon, and countless villages in between. They pushed through jungles and rice paddies, heat and monsoon, fighting heroically to protect the ideals we hold dear as Americans. Through more than a decade of heavy combat over air, land, and sea, these proud Americans upheld the highest traditions of our American forces. And that's why we will continue this commemoration all the way through 3 sitting presidents, all the way to 2025. The Remember the Fallen show will at least do 2 of these per year to the year 2025. God bless our Vietnam veterans and all veterans, past, present, and future. Well, it's getting 0:30 for the show, and I'm just about ready to go into rack ops mode. But before I relax, never one last promo. So go to Sergeant Dave Matthews at gmail.com. That is SGTDAVEMATTHEWS at gmail.com for suggestions for the show's content. Or if you know a good advocate like to come speak on the show, you can email me as well. Once again, Sergeant Dave Matthews at gmail.com. Remember, that's 2 T's in Matthews. Or you can go to my Facebook page and like the page at Remember the Fallen, all one word. Or you can also hit me on my Twitter handle at Heroic Memorials. Or if you're not into the Twitter bird chirping thing, you can go to my website at www.neverforgottenmemorials.org and mark your calendar every Thursday night on your phone at 8 p.m. Eastern Time at KLRNRadio.com. And you can also go to iHeartRadio.com, pull up search, go to podcast, and hit search again, and type in Remember the Fallen show. You'll see all my archive shows there as well. Every Thursday night, that's in order, until all the troops come home. All right, fall out. Pop Smoke out.
You're listening to the Spark Radio Network. Internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all set to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Most writers and radio show hosts know that to connect with your fans, you need to do more than just write books or record the latest podcasts. There are many different elements that go into forming an online platform, but there are also many hidden traps. To make matters worse, solid advice on how to survive the muddy waters is scarce. In the book Hidden Traps, I talk about some of the important issues of working with an online platform, highlighting traps that could put your physical or internet security at risk or be harmful to your reputation. Are your social media posts just links with a few disjointed words making you look like someone who can't complete a sentence? Did your new website cost you more than you anticipated? Are you leaking your personal contact details across the web without even knowing it? Then you need Hidden Traps. Hidden Traps is now available in paperback and ebook from a variety of retailers, including Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Kobo. Visit blackwolfpublications.com for more details.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-553-8687. That's 800-553-8687. Again, 800-553-8687.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-783-0810 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-783-0810. Again, that's 800-783-0810.
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq. Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is. If getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. You'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now. 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
Sometimes riders feel lost, unsure why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing to full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, offering manuscript critiques and line edits through a mentoring editorial style. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's file for your websites. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services, visit blackwolfeditorial.com.